In the last class, we were discussing about the DC machines and in particular the DC generator. We discussed about the structure of the DC generator, how a DC voltage, the unidirectional voltage is obtained. We saw that the DC machine is internally an AC machine with the currents and the voltages being an AC signal, and as it comes out of the brushes through a commutator, it becomes unidirectional and gets rectified. This we saw in the last class. We will of course consolidate our understanding of the DC motor further in this class. And just to have a quick review, we saw that in the last class, if we have a north pole and a south pole and a coil as shown here in red, the conductors near the north and the south pole will have the current directions out of phase, and these currents are going to be flowing through the external circuit through these brushes in black, through these brushes in black. Now, these brushes are in spring contact with the ring to which the coil is soldered. One end of the coil is soldered, the other end of the coil is soldered to another ring, and that is in contact with this brush. Now, here as the coil rotates, let us say this is the coil conductor A and this is coil conductor A dash. The current through A is positive, let us say this direction is positive, and as this comes into an orthogonal plane that is perpendicular to the north south axis, then the current through A and A bar will become 0, and then on further rotation the current through A starts going negative and the current flows in the opposite direction in the external load. And as it keeps going in this manner, it takes a sinusoidal wave shape pattern in the external circuit. And the induced EMF is given by the flux density B, the length of the conductor L, and the velocity with which the conductor is rotating, it is cutting across the fields. So, that would be the induced EMF that one would be obtaining for every conductor, and there are two conductors and therefore, there will be twice as much. And then we also saw that to rectify the waveform here, one could use split rings, rings that are split as shown here. You see these rings are combined to one single ring, but it is split in between. There is no electrical contact between the A side and the A dash side of the ring. Of course, the brushes are making contact, they are fixed, and through spring contact they are going to take the current into the external circuit. So, as the coil rotates, when it is at position north as shown here, the current is flowing through the brushes in this direction, and this is A and A dash, and here in this the current is flowing in this direction also, and as this rotates, the ring is also rotating along with the coil, and when this A portion of the conductor has come to the south pole side, which means we have A on this side, A dash on this side. Likewise, here also we have A dash on this side and A on this side, which means it has rotated. Yes. So, in A dash the current direction is as shown, and in the external circuit also the current direction is as shown. through the brushes. Whereas here the current, sorry, here once this has made a rotation, this would have gone to this point, that is the connection here, because A is connected to that slip ring, and A is connected to this slip ring. Okay. So now on the position getting interchanged, now A is at the south pole, like here. The direction of current in the brushes has reversed. So here it is AC, whereas here it is unidirectional always. So here you get a waveform pattern which is like that, and here you would get a waveform pattern which is about a 0 line, and this is about a 0 line. So you get a unidirectional current as shown here, and this has been achieved due to this particular ring which we have put there, and that is called the commutator. Even here this unidirectional waveform pattern can be achieved by using electronically a circuit called the full wave rectifier. So let us say we have a full wave rectifier diodes like this. We connect the diodes in this fashion and connect the load here, and this point is connected here, and this point is connected here. So when the current is flowing in this direction, it will take this path, go through this load in this direction, and continue to take this path out into the A direction. When the current is positive here, that is when it has reversed the polarity, whereby the A is towards the north side and A dash is on the south side, we have a current which is flowing in this direction, which means we have a direction of current which comes opposite, goes in this direction and comes like that, which means through the load it is always the same polarity. So you will have a waveform like this, unidirectional. So a full wave rectifier diode bridge does the same job that the commutator was doing in the case of this machine. So in this machine you do not need an external diode bridge, whereas in this machine to get a DC output you need a diode bridge. So this machine along with the commutator is called the DC generator. It's called the DC generator. So now let us consider the machine with the commutator as shown here. We would like to now represent it, because this becomes very cumbersome to write or draw in 3D and trying to put it into a. Let us now write a 2D picture of this DC machine So, we have the north pole and the south pole. Now, the conductor near the north pole, there is one conductor in the north pole, we show it in this fashion. There is another conductor in the south pole. If you take the cross section, we show it in this fashion. The current flowing into the paper or into the board, current coming out of the board. This is shown in this fashion. Now, the conductor can't be just floating in free air, it needs to be wound over a coil, wound over a core, and we represent the core. There is a slot in the core through which the conductor passes through, and core is having a circular feature like this. Okay. So, this inner core is what is rotating, and along the shaft of the core will be these slip rings, will be these commutators. So, we shall put the commutator along the shaft of the core. So, this is the commutator, and then we have the brushes. So, let us say the brushes are positioned like that, and then out of brushes we take two leads which go to the external load. So, there are two brushes, one for the positive and one for the negative. This is the brushes, and this is the commutator. Now, we draw a line, vertical line here, indicating that this half of the commutator is not connected with the other portion of the commutator, it is insulated. Now, this winding end, let us say, is A, and this winding end or coil end, which is A dash, this will be connected here and this will be connected here. So, this would be how a 2D picture of a DC machine will look like. Let us consolidate this concept or this idea of this DC machine with more coils. Also understand that a coil here, meaning that there is one conductor or one wire which is being routed through like this, but it could have many wires. It could have, like in a transformer, many windings like this, and the ends are brought out. Okay. So, keep that in mind. So, this is one coil with one set of conductors opposite ends of the diameter of the core, diametrically opposite end of the core. Now, let us have a look at the machine which is having 4 coils. So, let us have, as usual, the north pole and the south pole. Let us have a core with 4 slots. Let us first have a circular and to the circular core we shall have 4 slots. as shown here like this. Now, let us put in the coils. So, let us have one coil here, A dash, B dash. Let us have one more coil with opposite phase. Likewise, we have one coil here and one more coil with opposite phase. This means that if there is a coil, let us say A dash, and then another coil here B dash, then again one more set of coil, let us say C dash, okay, D dash, which means A and C are wound on the same slot, but having opposite direction of the coil winding. They are 180 degrees out of phase, which means at this point both these coils are near the north. Coil conductors are at the north pole, and the other part of the coil conductor is the south pole, which means if the A is having a direction of the current or an induced voltage in one direction, the induced voltage would be in the other direction because of 180 degrees out of phase. So, the voltage between these two coils is going to be double, and that is what is going to come across the brushes. And then in between we in this fashion. Four segments. So, the commutator is having 4 segments as shown here. Okay. So, now if the brushes are positioned in a manner like this, and we make the connection A here, A bar here, okay, and make the connection B bar, and then you have C bar, and then you have D bar cyclically. Now, this is still difficult to understand, this particular way of circuit, but this is how it would look like in when you cut open the motor. Redraw this slightly so that it becomes more understandable for us from the circuit point of view. N, yes. Now, let us have the commutator. The commutator being split into 4 Now let us start by placing the commutator always along the brushes, always along the axis which is perpendicular to the north-south axis, because on this axis there is no voltage induced. The voltage induced on this would be 0. So let us place the brush on this axis. Okay. And so between this and this would be the A coil, let us say, which means this is A and this is A dash coil ends which are connected. They are actually in be diametrically opposite, but we are going to show this one as one single connection as such. And then between this and this we connect the coil B, let us say, this coil B with B dash. You see, coil share the same commutator segment, then B dash, then you have C dash, B dash and C share the same commutator segment, and then you have D dash. But notice that, but just be aware that B and B dash are two coil ends which are diametrically opposite on the core, but you are bringing it and then interconnecting it in this fashion. This is much more easier to understand from the circuit point of view. So the starting of the coil, you are starting at one commutator segment, the other it is connected to the immediate next commutator segment, the other end of the coil. The starting of the other coil is starting from that commutator segment, ends on the next commutator segment, the next one starts at that same commutator segment, goes to the next, and so on and so forth. So this way the winding pattern for the 4 coils are shown. See that A and C coil will be 180 degrees out of phase, B and D coil will be 180 degrees out of phase. The reason we want to connect the brush here where there is no induced voltage in this line, at an instant when the position of the coils are like this, where A is in the orthogonal plane to the north-south plane, there is no induced voltage here nor here. There will be maximum induced voltage on the B and the D, that is, let us say on B you have 10 volts and D also you have 10 volts. So the voltage across the brushes would be, because these two are connected, so the voltage, the induced voltage would be 10 volts, would be 10 volts, because this is connected here, this brush is in contact with this commutator segment, this brush is in contact with this commutator segment which is at B, therefore it is 10 volts. The voltage across C being 0 at this point, the brush is shorting this coil C, and as the voltage is 0 there is no circulating current. Likewise, as this brush is shorting the coil A which is on both sides of this commutator segment, and as the coil voltage A is 0, there is no circulating current in the coil. If suppose the brush were placed at any other position, then there will be some finite voltage across the coils which are across the brush, and that would form a circulating current, and the circulating currents can be pretty huge and the I square loss would be very high. And therefore, it is advisable to place the brushes on the axis where the induced voltage will be 0, and this is called the neutral zone. The axis where there is no voltage which is going to be induced on the coils or the conductors is called the neutral zone, and they are always midpoint between the poles. So if I am having circumference between the north and south poles, any two north and south poles, consecutive north and south poles, the midpoint is where the induced voltage will be 0, and that is a neutral zone, and the brushes should be positioned where the induced voltage will be 0, that is the brushes should be positioned in the neutral zone. Now this here would give us, let us say this is E versus time. Now let us say that the position is as such here, as shown here. So D is having maximum 10 volts, let us say, the coil D. Coil B is also having 10 volts. What is appearing across the brushes is 10 volts, and let us just mark that as 10 volts at this position. Now let the motor rotate anti-clockwise, the positive direction of rotation. Now as the shaft is rotated, coil B comes to this position, that is the top position, and coil C would come to the position where the south pole is. So which means coil C will now get 10 volts maximum. Now what is happening to the voltage across the brush? As it is moving, the voltage across the coil B and coil D is decreasing, and voltage across coil C and coil A are increasing. So at some point in between, even before it has come to 0, the voltage across coil C would have increased beyond, and the brush would take the sum of the voltages of the coils which comes between these two due to the commutator segments, and it will have a wave shape like that. In the case of the 2-segment commutator, but in the 4-segment commutator where you are having 4 coils, the coil voltages are like that. And because the coil segments are rotating, brush is coming in contact with the various coil segments, it takes the maximum of the voltages, which comes like this, and we see a lesser ripple. More the number of coil segments, lesser is going to be the ripple. If you have a 12 segment commutator, which means you have 12 coils, then the ripple is going to be still further reduced.